Alright people, it's time for part 2 of this walkthrough of all the armies from the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit for Middle-earth strategy battle game. I've already recorded all of these, I'm just doing them bite size. So, enjoy and feel free to like, subscribe, hit the bell button and leave a comment as towards your thought on the armies included here. Let's get going! So next up we have a fun little unusual army, it's called the Shire. It composes of, or may compose of, Frodo of the Nine Fingers, that is Frodo returning from events of the Lord of the Rings, Samwise the Brave, Meriadoc, Captain of the Shire, the buffed version of Meriadoc, and also the buffed version of Peregrine, which is Captain of the Shire. You could then also include Paladin Took, Farmer Maggot, Lobelia Sackville Baggins, Fredegar Bolgar, Gandalf the Grey, Dunedain, Bilbo Baggins, Bandubrastuk, Hobbit Militia, Hobbit Archers, and Hobbit Sheriffs. So when Dunedain are included in this army, they are counted as minor heroes. And they can only be included if you have Gandalf the Grey in the army, which you kind of want to have. You kind of want to have both Dunedain and Gandalf the Grey, because not much in this army will actually kill anything if you don't have some offensive power. So the army bonus here is Fear, Fire, Foes. Hobbit models from this army list gain the Woodland Creature special rule. So first up we have Frodo of Nine Fingers. He's 60 points, just like he is in the Fellowship stat line. He can take a pony now though. He is, his stat line is quite weak, but he has defense 6 with that mithril coat, and 1 might, 3 will and 1 fate. But he now has also the passive special rule, it will never really heal. Frodo may never charge enemy models. In a fight he will make no strikes if his side wins the fate. And Home is the hero, passive rule. All hobbits models within 6 inches count him as being in range of a banner. So that's quite good. Banners are really powerful in this game. Then we have Samwise the Brave. He's the wearer of Sting now, so he's kind of the offensive power of the two. He can also take a pony and an elven cloak. He can throw stones. Strength 3 with Sting, but that's still pretty weak. But he has a good heroic stat line there with 2, 3. Meriadoc has though 2 attacks actually, and I guess 3 attacks on the charge with a pony. If you include him, you can buff the militia in his warband to be Battling Brandybacks. So they will increase their strength through 3. So you kind of want to do that if you want to have some resemblance of actually being able to wound anything. You can take a pony and a shield. His heroic stat line is 2, 2, 2. And Peregrine is very, very much the same. He can also kind of buff other fighters. You could make Hobbit Archers into Tookish Hunters, and that will make their fight value to 3. Then we have a lot of like shenanigan Hobbit heroes here. Paladin Took. He's a walking cane that counts as a club, but with strength 2. But he is a standfast 12 with the To Me Shire Folk special rule. Then we have Farmer Maggot, but he has 3 hounds for 45 points total. And he has himself the two-handed scythe, which counts as a pick, and the Wolf's Gripfanged Wolf. They are strength 3, fight 3, and they will always use Maggot's courage, I guess, as long as he lives. Then we have Lobelia Sackville Baggins, her umbrella. She has a special rule, very funny here. Furious Tirade, no warrior models from either player's force may benefit from a hero model standfast while within. The umbrella is not mightier than the sword is also passive special rule here. If she wins a combat, she can't make strikes. It actually reads like this. In fact, she will most likely give her opponent a good but ultimately painless battering with her umbrella. Just a 15 points of fun. Then we have Fredegar Bolgar, 10 points. He's unarmed, he throws stones with 3+ with a strength 1. Pointless character, but he's a very fun model. Then we have Bilbo for 40 points. If you are forced to contain Bilbo while also containing any of the following, Frodo, Sam, Merry, or you will lose your army bonus. So that's just not a good idea. If you don't have Sam, for example, carrying Sting, you could have Sting. And if you don't have Frodo, you may carry the ring for free. But taking Bilbo in this list is probably not the best idea, I guess. Then we have a very flavorful gentleman who invented the golf, as it were. Bandobrastuk, who allegedly was so large that he could ride a real horse, and that's what he's doing here. He is armed with a club and a horse.
but if you contain him and any other Hobbit hero model, you will lose your army bonus. So you will have to kind of, do you want to have Bandu Bastuk? Then don't take any other named hero. But he has heroic strike and strength for actions, and he's strength 3, defense 4, 2, might 1, will 1. So he's not all that great, to be fair, but he's really cool model from the lore, right? And then we have the Hobbit Militia for 4 points and the Archers for 5 points. They're just rather weak, to be fair, but they can be upgraded, as I said, with Merry and Pippin when you include them.
And then we have the Archers as well, which can be upgraded if you include Paladin or Peregrine to be Tookish Hunters for fight 3 instead of fight 2.
And then we have bring up the rear here, Hobbit Sheriffs, 5 points each, armed with hand and a half clubs. Fight 3, strength 2, not very good. That wraps up the Shire, but as I said, you can include Dunedain and Gandalf Grey, and you probably will want to do that if you want to have any chance of dealing any amount of damage with this army. Next up, we have the Rangers. The Rangers of the North are the descendants of the forgotten kingdom of Arnor, although their land is naught but the ruins of cities long since fallen. Among its people, the bloodline of the Númenorians still endure, hidden in the wilds of Eriador in the form of the chieftains of the Dunedain. The armor composition may include Arathorn, Aragorn, Strider, Halbarad, Dúnedains, and Rangers of the North. Yeah, Aragorn has also already been described in his Strider form, so I won't go over that. The armor bonus is called Their Dangerous Folk Wandering the Wild, and all models from this army list gain the Woodland Creature special rule, and the Rangers of the North and the Dunedain benefit from the Standfast of Arathorn, Halbarad, and Aragorn. Additionally, the Rangers of the North and the Dunedain increase their attack value to 2 while they have the infantry keyword. So while mounted they lose that extra attack, but while on foot they have 2 attacks base. So that's pretty neat, right? It's very important. So first up we have Arathorn, which is Aragorn's father, and you will lose your army bonus if you include both. You will also become an impossible allies with every other army, so don't do that. Because Aragorn was actually 2 years old when Arathorn died, so it just doesn't make sense to include both of them. He is quite a decent fighter. He's 75 points base. I mean, he's weaker than Aragorn. He has 3, 2, 1 for his heroic stats. Can make the heroic accuracy and strike. Then we have Halbarad with the Arwen Even Star Banner, which works within 6 inches rather than 3, and gives models within 6 the Fearless special rule, so that banner is really great, but it's also 40 points. He's a pretty decent fighter. Then we have the Rangers. They are, as I said, they are 2 attacks with that army bonus. Fight 4 and Strength 4. 2 attacks is really neat to have. They are individual independent heroes with 1/1/1 for a heroic stat line. You can be upgraded with a horse and a spear. Then we have the Dunedains. They cannot have horses, but they can have spears, and they can make the heroic accuracy, heroic action. They have also 1/1/1 for heroic stat line with fight 4 hitting on 3+ with a range and strength 4. That's it for the Rangers. And yeah, as I said, Aragorn as well. He has already been described. Next up is Númenor. The men of Númenor arrived upon the shores of Eriador late in the Second Age, born out of the ruin of Westerness on their ships. The coming of Elendil and his people would change Middle-earth forever, for the men of Númenor were a proud and noble race who founded the realms of Gondor and Arnor, the greatest kingdom of men in the history of Middle-earth. This army may include Elendil, High King of Gondor and Arnor, Isildur, captains of Númenors, and warriors of Númenors. So, the armor bonus here is called One by One the free lands of Middle-earth fell to the power of the ring, but there were some who resisted. Friendly Númenor models from this army list increase their courage value by 1. So for example, then Elendil will have a courage value of 7, which is obviously quite awesome, because you will only need to roll a 3 on 2 dice to actually make that courage test. But let's not ponder that too much. Elendil is 185 points of legendary hero. He has fight 7, which is very, very rare. And he has strength 5, defense 7, and he can be upgraded to defense 8 with that shield. so it's quite tanky. He's only 1 fate though, that's a caveat, but he has 3 might, 3 will, 3 wounds and 3 attacks. And he's armed with Narsil, which is a Master Forged hand and a half sword. Additionally, he can call a heroic combat each turn without expending might, which is not though as good as the Mighty Lord special rule for Aragorn, which just lets him spend a free might in any way in each round. He has a special rule High King of Gondor. His range of Standfast is 12 rather than 6, and he has also the passive Unbending Resolve, which makes him count as having had the Fortify Spirit medical power cast upon him, always in effect, even if his will is reduced to 0. So, quite the beast, as he should be. Then we have Isildur, his son. He's slightly less expensive, 120 points. He can be upgraded Horse Shield and the Ring for free, as long as you do not have Elendil or Anarion in the same list. He and all the following entries in this list have the Blood of Númenor special rule, which makes them resistant to magics while they are within 6 inches of Elendil, Isildur or Anarion. He is fight 6, so almost as good as his father, strength 5, defense 7, but can be upgraded to 8 with a shield, 3/2/2 for his heroic stat line, so quite a good hero, right? Then we have Captain of Númenor, which is Fortitude heroes, and they have fight 5, strength 4, so yeah, they're slightly just down the peg from the real legends here, and 2 attacks. 2/1/1 for their heroic stat line, but they can be upgraded in a numbers of ways. The horses, bows, heavy armors, lances and shields, so if you take both the heavy armor and the shield, they will have defense 7. And they also have that Blood of the Númenorian, which also the Warriors of Númenor have, and the Warriors have 1 attack with fight 4, strength 4, and can be upgraded with a shield to have defense 5. That wraps up Númenor.
And that's it for today's video, so thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell button and leave a comment.